after drafting Spencer Fano, and we have talked about this plenty times, that the biggest needs for the Browns are offensive tackle and wide receiver. And they went and got the wide receiver with the 24th pick, and they picked none other than Concepcion. Concepcion. And let's look at his fit with the Browns. He's a wide receiver, pro-ready wide receiver traits, route running, separations, elite. This is the reason why they got him, because of his separation. All right. Yards after catch is perfect. He had one of the highest yak in the draft. His punt return ability is perfect, right? And hands and catch radius is high. 2025 A&M stats, 13 games he played. He's 61 receiving yards with 919 yards, 9 touchdowns. Averages 15.1 yak, all right? Rushing, 10 attempted, 75 yards, 1 touchdown. Special teams, punt return, 25 returns, 456 yards, 2 touchdowns, an average of 18.2 yards per run. And total scoring, 12 touchdowns, 9 receive, 1 rush, 2 returns. An award, Consensus All-American 2025, Paul Hallman Award winner, first team All-SEC. His favorite quote, my favorite quote is, my message to Browns fans is to get the popcorn ready. I'm ready right now. I'm ready to play. I'm ready to change the organization. So here is Concepcion, and let's look at some of the media reaction, right? About KC when he got drafted. So let's look in here, and let's start with Ashley Bastock from Cleveland.com, and let's listen to her reaction about KC getting drafted by the Browns. Here we go.
Ashley Bastock of Cleveland.com, still out here at the Browns facility on draft night, and this night went sort of how we all thought. The Browns come away with their tackle and their wide receiver. So with the number 24 overall pick, they go with Concepcion. And it was really interesting because before the Browns picked at all in this draft, after their trade back to 9, my top 2 receivers were already gone, and Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson. So Concepcion is a guy who everyone obviously thinks is going to go in the first round. And I think he's interesting, a very fluid athlete, but there's definitely some things he needs to work on. Dane Brugler from The Athletic really highlighted the drops that he's going to have to clean up. He has a lot of drops and double catches on his film. But regardless, he's a pretty fluid athlete. He can fit multiple places. So I think this is interesting for the Browns, but I'm really curious to see reps-wise where he's going to be slotted, because they obviously still have a lot of belief in Jerry Jeudy and Isaiah Bond. We'll have all your draft coverage over at cleveland.com/Browns.
So as you can see, not all these reactions is before they were live. It was before the whole draft was concluded, to see the big picture. So let's look at Dan Labby from Cleveland.com, also sharing his reaction of Concepcion getting drafted by the Browns.
Hey, it's Dan. The Browns just took Concepcion with the 24th pick. Now, if their night is done here, this ends up being a pretty good first round for them. The assignment was get a tackle, get a receiver, and they did that. Concepcion, they don't really have a guy like this that can get yards after the catch. Now, he did play more out wide last year with Texas A&M than he did previously at NC State, but a guy that can play wide, he can play in the slot, and he can make plays after the catch. And also, he can return kicks. He had 2 punt return touchdowns last year. So this is the type of versatility that the Browns can use in their receiving core. The only concern, did have 7 drops last year, but if he can clean that up, make plays after he catches the football, the Browns receiving core just got a lot better with this pick.
And of course, Dan mentioned it. The biggest concern is the drop rates by KC. And something that I forgot to show you guys is how he ranks in the big boards, right? How he ranks. So let me come here. Let's show the big boards here. And in Daniel Jeremiah's big board, KC actually ranked 25th. So they got a first round pick with the first round, right? In the first round and the 24, but He was ranked 25th. Now in the consensus big board, he ranked, let's see where he is. Did I pass him? I think I passed him. So let's go here and let's see. KC Concepcion. Here it is, 23rd. So very good. And then the PFF final, KC ranked, I believe it was 35. Right here, 35. Now, what do the Browns have to say about KC Concepcion? So Concepcion spent his first 2 seasons at North Carolina State before he transferred to Texas A&M ahead of the 2025 season. In his long season at Texas A&M, Concepcion totaled 61 receptions for 919 yards and 9 touchdowns while adding 10 carries for 75 yards and 1 touchdown. So again, really good pick by the Browns. And let's keep looking at this reaction. Let's listen to Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland.com and hear her reaction to KC getting drafted by the Browns with the 24th pick.
Hi, this is Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland.com with an instant reaction to the Browns taking wide receiver KC Concepcion with the number 24 overall pick in the draft. Well, on the night, they started out by getting their left tackle of the future, and then they finished with a very, very dynamic playmaking wide receiver. Not only is he a wide receiver, but he's a punt returner, and Andrew Berry just called him the best punt returner in the class. So he brings elite after-catch explosiveness. He's going to bring a lot of juice to this offense. I think he'll pair very well with Jerry Jeudy, Isaiah Bond, Cedric Tillman. He's one of the most dynamic players in this class. And last year, the Browns only got 4 touchdown catches by their receivers, 2 by Jerry Jeudy, 2 by Cedric Tillman. They needed some offensive punch, some explosiveness, and KC should bring it. He also said, get the popcorn ready. I'm going to change this organization. You have to love his confidence.
So there you hear Mary Kay Cabot on KC Concepcion. Like she mentioned, the Cleveland wide receivers only scored 4 touchdowns last year. In total, this guy scored 9 by himself last year. So very, very good pick. Now, let's look at what KC Concepcion, well, I get this one a little bit. But let's look at what KC Concepcion, as he's regarded in the media platforms around, right? So let's go here and let's get this one and let's see.
24th overall pick, the Cleveland Browns have selected Texas A&M wide receiver, NC State transfer KC Concepcion, who is your number 2 wide receiver. Not the biggest guy. He's fun. He's great after the catch. His hands, maybe not 99 on Madden.
No.
Tell me why he's your number 2 receiver.
Because he is, without a doubt, in my opinion, the best separator and the best route runner in this year's class. Like, he has
Better route runner than Carnell Tate.
Yes, I think so. I think he, again, from all 3 levels perspective, like, this guy smokes man press coverage. 92nd percentile success rate versus man coverage in reception perception. Like, he's the best man press beater in this class, despite the fact that he's 5'11", 190. Like, he blows past guys. Good corners on film, too. And I know the hands are a question, right? The drop rate is too high. There's no question it's too high. It is an issue. It has to get fixed. I think it can get fixed because you see guys sometimes who have, like, they fight the football and they can't make the high degree of difficulty catches. And honestly, this is something that I think irritates fans more often than not, is that you see this guy make high degree of difficulty catches. Like, they're on tape. They're on film where he goes up and attacks the football and makes plays above the rim, but at times He's thinking about catching it before, and not thinking about securing it and catching it before he's making yards after catching.
Can you
There's
teach
a focus issue. Yes, I think you can teach it. Drops, like we talk about them a lot, but they're not a sticky stat year to year. And usually, if you're dropping the football a lot, it means you've been thrown the football a lot. It means you're getting open a lot, and this guy does get open. So I think it's much harder to find someone who can create separation on their own, not schemed, than it is to find somebody who we just need to fix his catch technique. And he does need to fix it. Like, he claps at the football too much. You can clean that stuff up, though. That is something I do think we've seen over the years that can get corrected.
He really grew on me because
Why?
It's some of the throws he's not getting where you can see the high-end ability.
He had some bad quarterback.
I was just about to say, and that quarterback's got some big fans out there that if you say anything negative, oh my God, they come at you. But I would say that's what he had to deal with last year, and that's why you didn't get to see that maybe how his usage at the NFL level. Like, I actually think him underneath to me, he's what Kadarius Toney was supposed to be as far as how he moves. He's bendy. He's got the explosive ability.
Does he also have a rap career?
No.
So much of a better route runner.
Yes.
Though. I mean, my God.
Yes, and actually knows what.
So here you see how they're calling him the best separator by Matt Harmon in the draft, okay? So let's see what G. Bush, my boy G. Bush, has to say about KC Concepcion. So let me come in here and let me get this for you guys. Just bear with me for a moment. And here it is.
You take a look at KC Concepcion. Player profile: dynamic, explosive playmaker, elite agility, route running, yards after the catch. True offensive weapon who can line up anywhere and make an impact. Let's take a look at the strengths. Explosiveness, burst, yak threat. Elite route runner with quick separation, versatile slot outside motion backfield, high football IQ, spatial awareness, impact route runner, adds value as a special teams playmaker who can create mismatches. Areas he needs to improve: drops can be an issue, inconsistent hands, smaller frame versus physical corners, can struggle in contested catch situations. Take a look at 2005. In the SEC, led the SEC in total touchdowns, explosive plays in space, game-breaking punt return ability, consistent big play threat. These are quotes. Casey is the type of player offensive coordinators love. You can manufacture touches for him. He can also change the game in an instant. When you take a look at it, he complements bigger outside receivers. Casey works the middle and creates space across the field. Now, the thing that you guys got to understand as well is I've always said that after you got past Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson, and Carnell Tate, you are going to always have to mismatch these guys. So if you take KC Concepcion, the next pick that you may have.
So let me take this here because then it goes to the next pick, and I don't want to talk about that yet. So let's see what the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Shows have to say about KC Concepcion. Again, the best route runner. He's a punt returner. We like, so there's two areas of need for the Browns that are being addressed here. And let's see what they have to say.
Since Travis Benjamin, the Browns have not had an electric playmaker on offense. He can do this right here. He's going to – now you don't got to worry about Gage Larberdan fair catching the football. Can we at least say that? Because every time he went back there, I said, please just fair catch.
What about the Malachi Corley-Inda round? Is that still
he's gonna have to work on something else because he's gonna get all of these. Think Ladd McConkey at the University of Georgia where Todd Monken was at, and think of Zay Flowers and the type of ways they got them to football. And I think you've now got a guy where you can say, hey, we can get you the ball out quick. We could get you some RPO stuff. And maybe you could turn a 5-yard slant into a 30-yard explosive play.
So there you go. You hear that about KC. And let's see what Desmond Howard had to say before the draft even started about KC Concepcion and his prediction for him before the NFL draft started. Here we go.
So if we're going to do that, we might as well start doing some predictions. So the first guy that is going to be taken in this draft is Fernando Mendoza by the Las Vegas Raiders. But the question I have for you is, you look ahead to the upcoming NFL season, who's going to be the offensive rookie of the year in the NFL this year?
You know, we just mentioned his name, a wide receiver from Texas A&M, Casey Concepcion. A lot of people aren't talking about him. I'm a huge fan. I think he's a guy who can come in and make a difference instantaneously. Not only as a wide receiver, he's going to be held on wheels in the slot, but as a return man too. I think it's going to be Casey Concepcion.
So you hear the prediction from Desmond Howard is that KC going to be the offensive rookie of the year. So really good. And let's look at the Underdog Football Show. See what they had to say about KC Concepcion. So you can have a little more better idea of what this guy's all about.
I am mildly obsessed with Casey Concepcion.
He's the best route runner in the draft class. If you want to watch him against Mansour Delane and Brandon Cisse, both in the SEC, was absolutely flying by them. He runs like the wind, either down the field or with the ball in his hands. Of course, that is when he actually catches the football.
Just under 6 feet tall, 196 pounds, will turn 22 years of age during his rookie season. Posted a cool 919 yards and 9 touchdowns on 61 catches this past season. You have to respect his speed on every single play if you're on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, his speed just looks different out there. I understand the drop rate. It's very high, like 11% this past season. When I watch him, I see dozens of reps where he has spectacular hands.
I saw the same thing. I just think that's a trait with his skills that's just going to get developed a little bit, and he's fully acknowledged the concentration of them. He dropped a couple touchdowns, no doubt about it. I just think that is generally a skill that can get improved upon, especially when I see so many other reps. I think it's like a 4-3s player with toughness, and we talked about that he can run all the routes and stuff like this. This to me is like the guy in the draft class that is checking, to me, a ton of boxes.
There you go. That's courtesy of the Underdog Fantasy Football Show. Okay, and they had another video on him, and let me play it here right again with Casey going to the Browns. So let's see what they had to say. This was the after.
You can make the case that the Browns just landed the best route runner in this class, and his name is Casey Concepcion. The first thing that hits you is his speed. He runs by defensive backs. Second, his releases. Press coverage, not an issue. Third, he lines up at every single spot, out wide, at Z as a movement piece, even in the slot. And you only have to go back to his freshman season at NC State to actually see him get manufactured touches. Yes, 40 carries during that first year with over 7 yards a pop. And that shows you that even with his size, 6 foot, 195-ish pounds, that he packs a punch on final contact. I mean, he literally carried a Mississippi State defender on his back for the final 3 yards. So I know his drop rate is high. I don't want you, when you first hear his name, to say he doesn't have hands. Instead, change your perspective, because this is an endless list of positive things that Casey Concepcion brings to this offense. Just think, Jalen Waddle plus 2 inches and 15 pounds on his back.
There you go, against courtesy of the Underdog Fantasy Football. Now let's look at when he got the call, when Casey got the call from the Cleveland Browns. So here it is. This is exciting, and I want you to hear the things that Andrew Berry's saying to these guys, because this is the new Cleveland Browns, and you're gonna hear.
Hey Casey, how we doing, buddy? You got a lot of people there. That's good. Hey, we are so excited to add you to our team, Casey. You're explosive. You have the makeup that we want. You can contribute in the kicking game. And I told you when you visited, I was like, I hope you're a Brown, but if you're not, I hope you're playing in the NFC because I don't want to play against you. I'm glad you're on our team. You're going to make a ton of plays for us. And I know we cannot wait to get started, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Hey, I got Coach Monk here. Coach Monk's really excited to talk to you, all right?
Sir, thank you very much, man.
Let's go, big boy. Huh?
Good, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm ready.
Awesome.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I know you are.
Ready.
That's why we wanted you to be a Brown. That's exactly. I know you said you're ready. We're ready too. I get it. We're fired up. No doubt. Can't wait to get you here. Well deserved.
Hey, Casey, it's J.W. Johnson. Good to see you again, buddy. Hey, congratulations, man. I'm really happy for you. Can't wait to get you here, bro. Hey, you're going to be a Brown for a long time. We're excited. All right, enjoy it with your family. We'll see you soon, okay? Congrats, brother. Yes, sir. Let's go get it. All right.
And you hear how he keeps saying, you see the attitude with this new Cats? He said, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. And I really like what, all of this that he's, that they're doing. Let's check, because something, Casey Concepcion has a speech impediment, and it's something that he actually wants to be a role model. And again, it's really hard to root against this guy. I mean, this guy has gone through everything, and he's gonna be a leader in the Brown. I think him and Spencer Fano is that's gonna be crazy for the next 5 or 10 years. So listen to him about his speech impediment.
Before I was kind of thinking about not going up there, but again, I want to be a role model for those who can't who aren't who are not able to speak in front of large crowds, and people and people who doesn't have the confidence to get up there and speak in front of everybody.
Again, being a role model. I was listening to an interview from one of his coaches, his wide receiver coach, who is the offensive coach now at Texas A&M. And he was talking about how this guy does everything right on and off the field. How he goes to elementary school, he's a role model. So these are great things. Now let's listen to him, because he talks about his drops. He's very open about his drops. So let's hear what he had to say about his drop rate.
I have, drops, but it's more so, it is more so, concentration. Just focusing on the ball. So I've been working nonstop at it every day. So it's gonna get fixed for sure.
So he's talking about his all concentration. He's been working at it all day, every day. That's what his coach also said for Texas A&M, that he knows what it is and he, wants to work. So, and it's something that can get fixed. Okay. So now let's see what he had to say about Shedeur Sanders, right? Because who might be his starting quarterback, right? So let's see what he has to say about Shedeur Sanders.
Whenever I had entered the transfer portal, after my sophomore season, I had actually went down to Colorado and and met Shedeur. He's a great guy, a great leader. I just cannot wait to build that relationship, build that and build that connection with them.
There you go. You hear what he had to say. Again, it's a guy you want on your team, and let's have a pre-draft interview that KC had. All right, so let's listen to this pre-draft interview.
You hear your name called, and you are officially a National Football League player. How do you think that's going to hit you, Casey? Just let yourself take a moment here and live in that moment in advance, if you don't mind.
Honestly, I feel like I feel like it's gonna hit me pretty hard. Growing up, I was always underlooked, undervalued. I wasn't the biggest name, but it's gonna feel like all of my hard work has finally paid off. And it is time to put in some more hard work.
And this was courtesy of the Rich Eisen show. And you hear how he has a chip on his shoulder, And now let's look at these pre-draft interviews. Let's look at Spencer Fano and Casey Concepcion. I'm gonna start with Casey. I missed Spencer Fano, but let's listen to Casey Concepcion and his coach, right? His wide receiver coach here asking him questions, right? All right.
We'll pull up plays, just talk through the play, formation, concept, route you're running. We'll just ask questions as we go, okay? Yes, sir. Now let me ask you a question here. You running this route, you're breaking in at about what? Breaking in at 15 right here? You ran a lot of digs, balls across the middle. That don't scare you going across the middle? No. Don't bother you at all, huh?
No, sir.
All right, awesome.
If he throw you the ball, you got to get it. As a Z, I'm always, over top.
How'd they teach, like, mesh? How'd they tell you how to, like, run the mesh there or, like, how to set a good pick form?
We want the trailing defender to always go, over top.
Got you. Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
You hear one thing that that I love here. He's talking about, hey, you get the ball thrown to you, you gotta go get it. You gotta catch it, right?